I got a phone call Sunday night, sitting in my desk at office at home. A friend of mine is we were missionary kids together in Singapore, went to high school together, been friends for 40 some years. He does finance and money. And he calls me and he says, Pastor Dan, he says, I got a deal for you, but you got to do something about it tomorrow morning. He has acquired a lot of Iraqi money, dinars. And they think that it's going to all of a sudden revalue. They'll take some zeros off and these monies will become much more valuable. And so, Pastor Dan, if you'll send me $1,200 cash in my account in the morning, I will then earmark a bunch of this Iraqi money for you. And in 3 weeks, by the end of the month, we will send you a check for $1.4 million. Good or bad? Would you have done it? I could put out $1,200 and in 3 weeks be incredibly rich. I would be retired. Garrett and Schiffer would now be the pastor. And I'd be golfing and on my sailboat cruising the world. I thought about getting 10 of you or 11 of you and doing $100 each. So I would only be risking $100, but if I got it, we need to be $100,000. I didn't do it. We'll see if I'm right or wrong. One phone call. On the other end, sorry, this is a blonde joke. It has nothing to do with being blonde, all right? Please, no one be offended. Just where it came from. She's also in Las Vegas, and she's standing in front of the candy machine, and she puts in some quarters. Out comes a candy bar. Very good. She's happy. She puts some more quarters in, gets another candy bar, puts it in her pocket. There's a third one. A guy comes up and says, "What are you doing?" She says, "Duh, I'm winning here." She's just taking money and getting exactly the same value. She's not gaining anything. Here, two people in Las Vegas. One is just standing here in front of a candy machine getting candy bars. The other one is trying to dream for millions. The difference is one phone call. And in Luke chapter 1, we have the Christmas story where the angel comes to Mary, 17, 18 years old. She's an ordinary girl. She has a plan for her life. She's engaged to be married. She plans to be married and have babies and live a normal life. When all of a sudden an angel comes into her life and says, "You are highly favored with God. You are going to have a son, and he is going to be the Son of the Most High." Luke chapter 1. And she has to make a decision. Here's this defining moment. She can hold on to the script in her life. This was not in her script. Her script was to get married and have babies in the ordinary way and grow old in the regular way. All of a sudden, she has a defining moment to let go of the script and now go with the angel. It's an incredible risk. She's going to be embarrassed. The whole world's going to think that she was not a very moral person. The odds are the man who was going to marry her is not going to do that anymore. She's going to be without a husband. She's not going to be married. She is going to be an old maid. She's going to be a single mother. She is never going to experience love again. She's never going to experience making and having babies in an ordinary way. That's the risk. But the angel says, "I'll give you a son, and he will be the Son of the Most High." And she grabs the moment and she says, "May it be unto me as you have said." And she grabs the moment, the defining moment, and she becomes the mother of God. One moment, fork in the road, makes all the difference in the world. How are you doing with those defining moments? Have angels come to you and wanted you to let go of the script you have for your life and do something new? They call it carpe diem. When you seize the moment and say, "I will not stick to the script. I will not play the safe route. I will do something new. I will be brave." This can be anything. This could be going for a job that makes more money, more fulfilling. This could be going on a mission trip when you don't have enough money. This can be seeing a pretty girl or a cool guy across the room and say, I'm going to have the courage to walk across the hall and just say, who are you? It could be learning a new sport. We're all going to go snowboarding here day after Christmas. You could try something new. I tried scuba diving. Scared to death of sharks, scared to death of running out of air under the water. But now I'm a scuba diver, and I've seen a manta ray 80 feet down. You can stick to eating the same food you've always had, or you can try some new foods. Defining moments that will define who you are. Decide how much life you want to live with. It's not always easy to let go. We hold on to life the way we've always done it, the safe way, the routine way. We don't have to take any risks, no chances. I know my life and I like it just this way. But then we miss those moments when the angel says, let's go do this instead. I did a lot of whitewater rafting when I was up in Southern Oregon. I was part of a group, and we would get these permits to do the Rogue River. And on the third day, there was Tate's Creek. We would beach our boats there in a little beach and hike about a quarter mile back, and here was this Tate's Creek waterfall. Someone had put a little rope ladder off to the side, and you would climb up that rope ladder, sit in that little stream, and you would get up your courage, get a little water moving, and then you would just shoom, go down to the bottom. A couple guys had done it before. 6 of us were there. I had no plans to do this until my younger brother got up there and did it. And then the pressure was on. So I dove in, climbed up that silly ladder, swaying, sat there in that little creek, and looked down 40 feet. And down at the bottom of the rock curved around, and I was afraid I was going to sit up and conk my head on that and be unconscious, scared to death. I sat in that little stream for half an hour and made those people wait, trying to get up the courage to do this. Fork in the road. Finally, mosquitoes biting. They're yelling at me, we got to go. I finally, okay, I'll never survive if I don't do this. Boom, shot down, landed in that pool of water. One of the greatest rushes I had ever had. And I said, how many more adventures have I passed by because I was scared, because I was afraid of being embarrassed, afraid of failing? How many times have we said, I don't have the money, I don't have the time, it's going to be too much stress, we've never done it that way before, and we hold on to the script of our life, when we hold on to the wheel with a death grip, and we miss those moments when the angel comes and says, I want to take you over here, and you can experience something incredible. How are you doing? Any angel moments coming your way right now? I often talk about spaghetti factory. I was at the spaghetti factory the other day. I've been going to the spaghetti factory since it opened in Portland, Oregon, almost 40 years ago. Once I figured out the manager's choice, which is tomato sauce and Mazithra cheese, I have not changed my order in 38 years. Once I got it right, I don't want to mess with it. You want to take a chance on having something not. Same thing every time. My script. I sometimes use the story of Papillon. It's an old movie. Most of you probably never heard of it. That Papillon, Steve McQueen, and Dustin Hoffman are on a little island in the middle of the ocean off French Guiana in South America. It's a prison 20 miles out in the ocean. No one has ever escaped. There are no guards. They have little huts and little chickens. Steve McQueen is determined to get out of here. And he figures out that if they make these rafts out of coconuts, they can throw them down off this cliff and they can jump down and swim to freedom. They make the raft. They're standing on the ledge of the cliff. 2 old men, been friends for life. And Dustin Hoffman says, I'm not going. What do you mean you're not going? You cannot stay here. This is not life. We can go for freedom. No, I'm too scared. And the 2 old men hug. One man jumps and gets on the coconut raft, and he makes it to freedom and lives the rest of his life. The other one goes back to his chickens. Defining moment. Are you going to hold on to the script, or are you going to jump and do something with your life? Every love story, every movie has this moment. You're going to choose. Go for it. Stick to what's safe. Titanic. Go for Kate Winslet.
What are you going to do? Choose. I love one scene in Notting Hill. I don't like all the rest of it, but Notting Hill with Julia Roberts. $20 million a movie lady. She walks in a bookstore with Hugh Grant, who was a nothing. And she wonders if they can have a relationship. And Hugh Grant says, no, it's hopeless. You know, I'm nothing and you are that. It'll never work. And she says, no, I am just a girl standing in front of a boy asking him to love her. The defining moment. Stick to the script or let go. Get Julia Roberts. An old movie called Out of Africa. Robert Redford and Meryl Streep. She has a ranch. She's stable. She's got a place. He's a pilot. And he has a little plane, biplane, and they fly. He takes her, let me show you. And they fly all over Africa and see the waterfalls and the animals and all the rest. And they have a famous scene where there's a picnic. And he says to her, let's go. Just let this go. And I'll take you and I'll show you the world. Let's go. She says, why can't you just stay here? Why can't you settle down and be here with me? And I wanted to shout at him, it's Meryl Streep, stay. But then he says, no, let's not be stuck here. Let's go. And I want to say to her, go. It's Robert Redford. Get on the plane and go. She doesn't go. She stays. And he takes off. And the plane crashes. And then there's a funeral. Missed her moment. And how many times have we done that? We want to hold on to our life. It's predictable. I heard someone on radio call it the predictive life. I get up. Eat, coffee, newspaper, go to work, school, life. And it's routine and it's safe. And all of a sudden an angel knocks on the door and says, how about this? I have something that'll explode your life. And it's hard. It's hard to let it go. But Mary grabs the moment and ends up being the mother of God. I have taken the angel a few times. A few times I've taken the chance and gone for it. Other times I have too afraid. And I would just say as clearly and loudly to all of you, not knowing what choices are in front of you right now, the most exciting, the most creative, the most fruitful, the most exciting moments of life are when you let the script go and you follow what the angel calls you to and you go where the angel says to go. Take more chances in life. Don't hold on to the wheel too tight. Don't let your fears keep you from doing something that's exciting and out on the edge and have the adventure. Don't make the angel go to the next person in line because you're not willing to go. Give this cool job to someone else. Someone you could have married ends up going with someone because you passed the moment back when the angel came and knocked on the door for your life. It's famous classic story about the man named Yates. He owned a sheep ranch in the middle of Texas. And he is about to lose the ranch. He is destitute. He is starving. When all of a sudden, an oil crew walks onto his property and says, we think there's oil on your place. And the first well is 80,000 barrels a day. And many more wells. He's wealthy. Living on welfare. It's there. And how many of us are standing in front of the candy machine, putting coins in, getting candy bars, when there is something more if you just listen to the phone call and take a chance. I've listened to Bill Hybels tell a story from Chicago, pastor of this huge church in Chicago. He comes from a rich family, Kalamazoo, Michigan. And I've heard him say that he was in high school. His dad came to him one day. He says, you've been doing pretty good. I'm going to take you out of school for a few days. Let's go see the Final Four NCAA championship basketball. I think it was in Baltimore or someplace. They get on the plane. They had a private plane. Began to fly. He said, Dad, you got tickets for this game? No, I got no tickets. Dad, these tickets are sold out by lottery a year beforehand. There are no tickets for this game. He said, don't you worry. I'll get tickets. They land. They drive the car to the stadium. The father says, you go park the car. I'll meet you at the front door. Come to the front door. He's got tickets. They watch the game. They get out. He says, I know you've been doing pretty good. Let's take a few days off. What do you say we go to the airport and let's take the first plane that flies anywhere in the world? They went and got the first plane, ended up in the Caribbean or someplace. Most of us cannot live that kind of serendipity, spontaneous, do whatever we want. But once in a while, when the angel comes, don't hold on too tight. Be willing to listen to the Spirit and do something else. Go in another direction. It's not always easy. Just the fact that you may have some trouble does not mean that you followed the wrong angel. Mary had some few hard moments when she followed the angel. She had to stand there and watch her son die on a cross. And the story, if you watch the movie, has the mother wiping the blood after he was whipped. But she also got to know that her son was the Son of God who saved the whole world. She got to be Mary, the mother of Jesus, and the whole world for 2,000 years knows the name of Mary. She could have stayed in a little small village. No one would ever know. Stick to the script. Hold on to the life the way she wanted and keep control, tight-fisted control. Or you can go with the angels. Do something new. My parents stood up. I was 1 year old learning to walk, like little Skylar here. And my parents at 28 years old stood up at a general conference session and said, we'll go to Thailand. Never heard of it. Got on a boat with 3 little boys. We went over to Thailand. 15 best years of my parents' life, they would say. We did good when we followed the angel that day. Not always easy. Well, let's ask one last question before we're done. Does God take risks? Some of you maybe were at the second service last week. I talked about this a little bit. Does God take risks? The traditional view is that God does not take risks. God has seen everything, all there is, in one look. He has forever seen all that there ever is and ever will be. The eternal stare. Nothing is new. Nothing surprises God. Nothing adds to his life. It's what it always is. There's no risk. No taking chances. And some of us, there's a movement here in Christianity, in the Adventist church, thinking that maybe we don't have all the answers on this yet. Maybe God is in time. We were made in his image. We're in time. Maybe God is in time. We have to take risks. Maybe God takes risks. Wasn't it a risk when he created Lucifer? Wasn't it a risk when he created Adam and Eve and gave them free choice? And doesn't it have to be a risk when he gives his son? You put your son on the line. When we have the famous story of Abraham puts his son on there on the altar. Supposed to give us a picture of what it meant for God to give up a son. That was a risk. Never see him again. It's a risk. And so Pastor Schiffer chose this series title, The Sundering. It's the greatest love story maybe you've ever heard. God the Father, God the Son, God the Holy Spirit, together forever for zillions of years. The most incredible relationship this world has ever heard of. God, and all of a sudden, he is willing to separate and sunder this relationship and let his son come down and die. I believe it was a risk. Ellen White says it was a risk. Jesus said, for God so gave his son. That's what I believe. So this little Christmas story of this little baby really is a symbol of this sundering. God is willing to take a risk, take a chance, and save the whole world. Any angels knocking on your door right now? Any places that God would like to move you beyond the script that you've always had and say, let's do something new. Don't hold on life too tight. Let's go another direction. I've got something better for you. Don't just stand there taking the candy bars from the candy machine. I got more for you. One of my favorite stories is Laszlo Tokas in Romania as a priest. Young adult, 25 years old. They gave him downtown cathedral, 25 people coming in this huge cathedral. Begins to preach the gospel. Began to invite people to come. Church began to fill up. He began to preach against the government, the communist Ceausescu government. Finally, there was too much. 5,000 people are coming. Communists decided they couldn't stand for that. So he knew they were coming. He told the church, you come, You be a witness. The people circled the church, wintertime, close to Christmas. The secret police came. They couldn't get through all the people. The crowds began to fill up. Several thousand people came. The train would come after work, 5, 6 o'clock. All the people didn't go home. They just stayed there, added to the crowd. Thousands of people. One kid named Daniel had a candle in his pocket, pulled out the candle and lit the candle. Other people began to light candles all over the crowd. Started a revolution. Pretty few days later, Ceausescu was gone. Communism was gone. The revolution had happened. In the melee, the boy who had the first candle got shot in the leg. Pastor went over to the hospital and walked in the room. The kid said, Pastor, it's nothing. I was the one who lit the first candle. What's your candle? What is your candle that God is calling you to light? And no one else can light. Only Mary could do this. Don't make the angel go to the next one in line. Don't pass up the opportunities God has for you. I hate it when someone cheats themselves of their destiny because of something they're afraid to risk and go a little further. Take some chances. She's going to sing a great, great song. Mary, did you know? How could Mary know what was going to happen? The angel comes and says, this one little thing, you're going to have a son. It's all she knows. And the song says, Mary, did you know? Someday, one day, the son is going to walk on water. He's going to heal the blind. People are going to walk. He is going to save the whole world. Mary, did you know? She could have kept the script and stuck to a little small village and had everything safe. Or she could take a chance and be the mother of God. Enjoy the song. Mary, did you know?